In this video, we're going to be looking at how to do a hard reset of the 11 rack. Now, if you need to know how to reset your 11 rack to factory conditions, I already have a video of that posted. It's very easy. And if you watch that video, it goes through the process in great detail. But on this video, we're going to assume that for whatever reason, we're not able to do a reset from the menu. We'll say for some reason our 11 rack is freezing when we power it on. We'll say it's stuck on the 11 rack screen. Maybe it was a failed firmware update. Maybe something else has happened that we're just not sure of. We can't back up our patches. We can't make any changes. We can't do anything with our 11 rack. It's just freezing on the start screen. So there's a couple ways we can do a reset of our 11 rack. And the resets are done by holding the reverb or REV and FX loop buttons during power on. And doing a reset like that should not wipe out the rigs you have currently loaded in your user section. Or to do a complete hard reset, you would hold the REV, FX loop, and mod during the power up of the 11 rack. So let's check out exactly how these two resets would work. So let's power off our 11 rack unit. And of course, Pro Tools or any other DAW is closed, though I still have the 11 rack connected via USB to my computer. So let's start out by holding the reverb and FX loop buttons. Hopefully you can see that. Reverb and FX loop, holding them both down. Now I'll power on the unit. And at this point, it looks like it has reset. The 11 rack has frozen on the 11 rack screen, which is what you're looking for. So now we should be able to power the unit back off. Then we'll wait about 5 seconds, and then we'll power it back on. And it's starting up. So we've done a reset, but we still have retained our rigs and our settings. We hold edit back here, go to firmware version. We still have our 201, which is the 11 rack expansion pack. So that's one way we could try to reset the 11 rack. Say for instance, a firmware update had hung our 11 rack on the start screen. So we'd start off by trying to reset by holding in those two buttons. If that doesn't work, we're going to go all the way now and completely hard reset the 11 rack. So let's power the unit off. And this time we're going to hold down REV or reverb, mod, and FX loop. So we'll hold down those three buttons and then power on the unit. Now the 11 rack has stuck on the 11 rack screen, which is exactly what you want. So we can release those buttons. Now we can reboot it. So power off the unit. Then we'll just wait a few seconds and power the unit back on. And there you can see we have done a complete reset of the 11 rack. Now we have the factory rigs, whereas before I had user rigs in the user section. These are the factory rigs that will come with the 2.0.1 firmware version. You can see we have knobs on the display now, whereas before we had values. So everything has been completely reset. So that is a couple ways you can reset your 11 rack. If you need to reset your 11 rack, the first thing to try would be to do it the menu based way by holding edit back and resetting from here. If that's not working, for whatever reason your 11 rack is freezing and not letting you use any of the menu options, then you can try the manual hard reset methods by holding the reverb FX loop, or doing a complete reset by holding the reverb, FX loop, and mod during the power up process. So we can check Pro Tools real quick and make sure our 11 rack is still functioning as it should. So we'll pop that open here. And there we go, Pro Tools is open. Let's open up a session real quick. And there we go, the 11 rack seems to be functioning just fine. I'll use my scroll knob here to change some rigs. And we have that reflected in Pro Tools. We can come to our on-screen editor, check our rigs. And the 11 rack and Pro Tools seem to be communicating just fine with each other. So there you go. If you happen to need to reset your 11 rack and for some reason it's freezing, there are two ways you can try.